Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video I'd like to discuss the reports that ITV are regretting paying over the odds to get Nigel Farage into the jungle because, get this, because he's only talking about politics. What on earth did they expect? But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news and politics, please subscribe to the channel. So, reporting today's Mirror, those producing the reality TV show say that Farage is the least interesting campmate they've ever had on the show. Do remember they've had Matt Hancock and Nadine Dorries, and they paid him top dollar, supposedly about £1.5 million. But here's what I don't get. How on earth did they not know what they were getting? This isn't like getting, say, a minor actor on. You can be forgiven for not really knowing how they're going to present themselves on the show when they don't have a script. But Nigel Farage is a media personality in the very real sense. We've seen him in lots of contexts. We've seen who he is. You know exactly what he's like. You know exactly what you're getting. They're complaining that he only talks about politics and that they want to keep things light on the show. It's an entertainment show. So they expected a bit of politics, of course, but not every word out of his mouth. The report cited the example of asking around for people's favourite film, and Nigel Farage couldn't think of one. Probably because there isn't a film which glorifies xenophobia or tanking your own economy for personal profit. But given that Farage has been such a prominent media personality for so many years, really don't understand how the producers of the show can be surprised at his lack of, well, personality. They're complaining that Farage only talks about politics and nothing else at all. But that's who he is. Like those who watch my live streams know, I can be distracted with topics on other issues. This morning on the Labour social stream, I derailed my own political discussion by talking about pretend squirrels in video games. That is because, as interested as I am in politics, it's not an obsession to the exclusion of all else. Like most people, it's just one aspect of life that I'm really very interested in. But we've seen enough from Nigel Farage's much better documented life to know that his politics is all there is to him. He's been on the telly or the radio for so many years, so much, it's so high profile. What does he ever talk about that's not politics? And what does he ever talk about that's not his politics? Because it's not even the case that he's all about the politics. He's all about a very narrow type of politics. Like take fishing, for example. Oh, he made a big deal of the fishing industry as an MEP because he saw it as a useful Trojan horse for his Brexit plans. The second we left the single market, it's had nothing to do with the fishing industry since, as far as I can tell. His politics is confined to the promotion of two types of policy: xenophobia and the granting of power to people who will use that power to make people like him wealthier. But there's another point of interest to this buyer's remorse from ITV as well. Nigel Farage said, ahead of going on the show, that he was doing it to reach a different audience. He was aware that the GB News crowd are a particular and very limited demographic. He wanted to reach out to a younger audience. He actually said that. That was his stated aim. I imagine he was also attracted by the £1.5 million. But I can also believe that, yes, he saw an opportunity to broaden his appeal. But because, apart from the odd little exchange, the producers have thought his political chatter is too boring to use all the time, they've been struggling to find any useful footage of him at all. According to the report, quite a lot of the footage I'm to be using, he's not even saying anything. It's like other people talking about him. And Farage's supporters are now, according to this report, complaining that ITV are cutting some of his rhetoric from their show. But it's because it's light entertainment and he's boring. It's also been reported that viewing figures were well down for this series by several million. The inclusion of Farage was already looking to be a poor investment almost immediately. And now they can't even find much in the way of suitable footage. They may actually be wishing they'd just bunged him £50 for the right to use a cardboard cutout of him. It would have been a lot cheaper and potentially more interesting. So we have a situation whereby nobody really won, at least not the way they wanted. Farage will get to pocket in excess of £1 million for lounging around talking crap. There can be at least no arguments that he's now got enough money for his Coots account. But he's failed to engage with that new audience. The show's producers have actually managed to reduce the value of their product with their over-the-top spending on what they thought would be a star turn. According to the Mirror, Anton Deck, the show's host, appeared to have ruled out signing up any politicians for the next series. Although I would offer an alternative. It's not the problem with getting politicians on. It's the problem with getting all political activists of any kind. I would say don't get sitting MPs on. I would say that. But in terms of like political activists, should we say, get ones who are going to be interesting to your audience. And this isn't a pitch to say, basically get left-wing political activists on. You'll get some right-wings on, will be absolutely fine. You know, but it's simple marketing, isn't it? On YouTube, you need to have a very clear idea about your audience. If I don't have a really crystal clear idea about my audience, I could not have got this channel to where it is now. It's got to be the same for any form of broadcast media. Isn't it just basic marketing? There are some political beasts I could do a show with on my channel and it would do well. There are others that would flop. And it's the same for this jungle show. Know your audience. Know what sort of personalities are interesting. They don't always have to appeal. You can get counter personalities, but they have to be interesting. Invite them on instead of inviting on someone who was very obviously the polar opposite. You have to wonder if they just thought he was there to stoke controversy and get engagement that way, get it being talked about in the papers. You know, sort of the Jerry Springer treatment to revitalise the format or something. That might explain how experienced broadcasters made what would appear to be a rookie error. They expected to get outrage maybe and ended up getting dull as ditch water. But they still made money. The pay is not exactly chicken feed for someone like Farage, so although he hasn't engaged his audience, he's made money. The show isn't going to collapse over this, so they've both made money. They both potentially learned a lesson. Know your target audience. And the rest of us can sleep easier knowing that Nigel Farage didn't manage to succeed in hypno-toading the crap telly watching younger generation. But there we are. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Hope you found the video interesting. If you did, please click the like button. And if you'd like to support the channel further, the join button for memberships. And until next time, I'll see you later.